Hello, and you're all warmly welcome to the ViztaEdu webinar. The session will start at exactly 7. Um, I've already gotten to know a few of you. I know Akoko, I know. So if you're on, can you just put it in the chat where your name and then where you're joining us from before the session starts? I've also seen our speaker here. Hello, Abigail. Great to have you here and the other people. So you can share your location, um, your name, and then something small about what you do in the chat box. Thank you. Hello, and you're all warmly welcome to the Vizcom 1.4. This is the fifth edition of our ViztaEdu webinar, and my name is Aquile. I'm your host for today. You're all warmly welcome. For those who joined us later, you may want to put in your name and then where you're coming from to join. Okay, so let's get the conversation started. Um, I'll start by talking a little bit about ViztaEdu and what we do and why you are here. Before before I proceed with that, I have Eric here. Eric here is from Cape Coast and he's a student of UCC. Hello, Eric. Glad to have you here.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be
And
here
then,
as well.
okay, Sami is from Wager. He's hoping to learn something new. Akoko is a worker at Sunda International. Glad to have you all here. So, what is Vista Edu and what do we do? Vista Edu is a social media based educational app company, and what we do is we want to make students' life as sociable as possible. You know, COVID taught us something about distance, social distancing, and even after COVID, people still do not have the luxury of meeting and then sharing sharing conversations about what they are doing as a student or what they are doing from other parts of the world. So this platform is going to be one that everywhere you are, wherever your country is, whatever you are doing as a student, you have someone doing the course that you're doing, sharing insights about how different it is. And basically, the whole point is impact on students and then impact by students on the community. So that is what Vista Edu is about. We hold monthly webinars on the last Thursday of every month. This is the fifth one, as I mentioned earlier. And today we are having a very wonderful guest with us who is going to share so many great things about the topic, which is the skills to master before you come out of school. Yeah, so that's the intro, and I don't want to take the meat from the speaker. I want her to introduce herself and then tell us what we are going to learn before I read out some of your expectations and some of the questions that she would have to touch on. So, hello, Abigail. Great to have you.
Hello, Aquile. Can you hear me? I hope I'm
Very, very
audible.
well.
Okay, great. Good evening once again to your distinguished guest, and thank you all for joining us for this evening session. My name is Abigail Tetteh, and I'll share a few insights with you all. Thank you all for having me.
Great. Thank you too for being here. We are so excited about it. You know, when we started, we were we didn't know how we are going to go about this whole webinar thing. It was very new to us. And so we are very excited to have you we've had a lot of nourished guests distinguished guests who are very, very impactful in their sphere of influence, and we are so excited to have you as part of them. All right, so I'm reading out a few of the expectations our distinguished registrant put in for us. We had 26 people registering, and I mean that's great for us. For the first time, we had a far large number, but I believe this registration is one tool for us to get to know exactly who we are having, the retaining people who are always here with us, and we know this number is going to increase, and this is great for a starter. Yeah, so for um for our expectations, some of you are saying you expect it to be impactful, you want to learn some skills, you want to know the skills and ethics required in the field of work and what employees expect employers expect from recent graduates. I believe that was a mistake. Yeah, someone also said he's hoping to hone the skills he has to receive and improve the life of his and others. I want to share my screen with you so that you also read out the expectations that we gathered. Okay, there. All right. So someone wants. I hope you can see me the screen. Someone says, I want to learn more on career development. I want to know the skills to learn while in school and the relevant skills to focus on. I'd like to be part of this great opportunity to tap in the information to be shared as to guide me to make more meaningful decisions with regards to my education and career. For this one, I would bet your expectations are going to be met and more because guest is very seasoned in this aspect. Um, um, yeah, another expectation is to get key points that will help my life, learn new skills, learn something. So basically, most people want to learn something helpful to get to know the skills and training you need for the job market and opportunities that will drive to attain such skills. I'm expecting to at least get to know about the skills that will make me relevant for the job market. Yeah. So, um, without further ado, I would love uh, um, guest speaker to take on the podium and then continue the conversation. Abigail, are you ready? You
Yes,
can go
actually.
ahead.
Right. Okay. So let me share screen and then we can start. Right. And please give me a minute. I'm coming. A minute.
All right. Okay. So while you are getting ready, can you share with us? Can we get to know you more? Can you introduce yourself a little bit more to us so that we can relate with you, your journey, and everything?
Yes, I
Abigail.
wanted to share the slides to have
Oh,
everybody
okay.
get a feel. Yes, that's what I'm
Okay.
trying to do. So just a minute
Okay.
and we'll be there.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Right.
wonderful.
I guess the screen is not coming, so we'll start the conversation. So, as I mentioned, my name is Abigail Tetteh. I work as a graduate teaching and research assistant at the Political Science Department, University of Ghana. I also have my small startup business known as Amsab Events. We are into event management, decoration. So everything event, once you contact Amsab Events, we can get it done for you. So this evening, I'm very much, very, very happy to be here to join you all and then share a few insights with everybody about my startup journey after school, even how to get a job, how to maneuver your way. Do you get it to um, I don't know the best words to use, but then to say that to ensure that everybody is doing well, even if it's not to the expectation of what everybody wants you to do, but like to the extent where you are comfortable. So the first thing I'll share is that as a student, because the topic I was given is to talk about the skills you have to master before you come out of school. So then it means this conversations to some extent will be limited to students, but then also even young graduates. As a young graduate who have just come out of school, what are some of the skills you have to sharpen or adapt very well to use? So the first thing I'll mention or touch on is the culture of volunteerism. I think 2 years ago, I wrote a short piece where I submitted on Modern Ghana to share just a few insights or my volunteer journey when I was on campus way back for my undergraduate studies. That was between 2013 to 2017. So, as a young student or as a student, wherever you find yourself, the culture of volunteerism is one thing you need to first of all adapt to guide yourself. So, once you adapt this culture, you have more or less like the feel to volunteer because for some of these volunteering opportunities you are not paid, right? You are not paid, so it's more or less like freelance volunteering. Let's say of an NGO doing a project for street children or doing a donation for an orphanage. How do you also contribute to support them? How do you help them in the planning process? Even let's say in the process of distributing the items to these underprivileged people. So your way of support or contributing to them, if you don't cultivate this culture or habit, it becomes very difficult to do it because you are not getting more or less like the salary or the pay you want to get, right? That is why it is very important for a student to get that habit. So if I want to share a few things, I remember when I was in level 300, I met the director for PALI, that is Passionate African Leadership Institute. And then he mentioned to me some of the coaching classes or their seminars they do for youth in Ghana. So when he told me that, I was very, very happy. And then I was like, oh, I would like to join your team as a volunteer. And, amazingly true that I could attend some free seminars they were doing. Even some of the seminars were even paid. But because I was a volunteer with Pali, I could attend these sessions for free. And that is even how I got to meet my mentor, Prof. Dallas, who is a professor at Saginaw Valley State University. And then till date, she still writes recommendations for me. There are even instances where she even gives me like gifts I've not requested for. It was true that simple act of kindness when I was in level 200, 300 period that got me that opportunity. And then also, even in my 300 days, I remember so well, Action Aid, a colleague introduced me to Action Aid. So I joined Activista. And through that, Activista is basically a youth organization that mobilizes youth across the region to discuss issues of national importance and then all that. So once I joined Activista, I was very happy because it also shaped or helped the research I was doing, because some extent you're able to even get in touch with some of these stakeholders that on a normal day you can't even have access to them. Do you get it? So developing or cultivating the culture of volunteerism is very key, and it's one of the key things every student here or even a young person. It doesn't even you don't need to be a student to volunteer. Do you get it? And I'm not saying you have to volunteer like every day of your life, because for some of these projects, these are, let's say, annual projects, or let's say every quarterly event. Because even for Activista, it was once, let's say there's a pressing issue and then you want to talk about it. I remember even recently this popular e-levy, when the government was still going ahead with the town hall meetings and all that. Activists from Activista were saying that for us, we are not against the payment of taxes, but then we are looking at how the government can promote digitization. Because if we are saying that small businesses are now coming up or springing up, and then most of these transactions are through these platforms, and then these electronic levies come, they are going to affect or yes, negatively affect these businesses, right? So these are some of the ways that we also contribute to policy decision making when it comes to even advocating for women. How do you even have more women at the legislative body in Ghana here? Do you get it? So these were some of the activities that we were advocating for. And then, the amazing thing is that you are advocating, or let's say volunteering for a project, and then in the long run, you're also learning so much on it. So this is the first thing I'll mention today, the culture of volunteerism. After, I'll share my presentation with Aquile, and then she'll make it available to everybody. Then the second thing I'll talk
Oh,
about.
Abigail, you can share it right now, and I'll try and see whether I can also present.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you can go ahead.
In the course of my presentation, if you have any questions, just feel free to drop that in the chat box. At the end of the session, we'll take a look at them and then see how best I'll be able to look at that. So I'm sharing to Aquile for her to also present for me.
Wow. So far, I'm learning about the culture of volunteerism,
Okay.
and I believe this is something that a lot of students need because volunteerism is seen as a job profile. It's added to your job experience.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very
Aquile,
great.
I've shared that with you.
I have
Then,
received it. Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
So still under volunteerism, I'm sure we all know internships already. Often you find a student who is still in level 300 or 400 and hasn't undertaken any internship opportunity, which is like very, very weird because one of the things that will separate the developed world from the developing when it comes to education is that elsewhere abroad, when you are in school, even the programs you are reading, they are attaching you to some organizations to have intense opportunities to even learn how the corporate sector or the corporate area works. Because what we learn from school, yes, you are able to apply these things when you get to the job market. But when you are in school and then you also learn how to strike a balance between all these things, it goes a long way to help you, the students, right? Because what is done at the corporate setting is different. So all the theories we are learning in our various universities, we can complete them and complement them very well at the corporate sector. So if you don't do an internship, let's say a practical attachment with an office to learn how they even do their marketing very well, how are you able to learn some of their strategies? How are you even able to come up with a startup? Do you get it? So aside cultivating the culture of volunteerism, supporting organizations, you can also request to intern with them. In 2013, when I was a volunteer with Amnesty International, I requested to a friend that, oh, can I attach myself with the organization? And then through that, I was able to get a 3 month internship opportunity with them where I learned so much about even what they are doing in the human rights space and all that. So the culture of volunteerism is very, very key, and every student should learn this culture. In the same vein, developing or learning with an organization or interning with them is very, very key. Then the second thing I'll talk about is for students to develop their IT skills. It is very fascinating to see somebody come out of the university and then the person doesn't even know how to use Word, Excel, PowerPoint. These are all basic skills you need at your workplace at a school. So if within the 4 years of pursuing 4 years or 3 years of pursuing your degree, you didn't learn all these skills, when you go to your company, you are going to struggle. And then with that regards, your colleagues who have those skills already will now have an upper hand, right? So then that way now they more or less like have an upper hand, and then they're even able to do things that you're unable to do. So developing how to use basic office suite is very, very, very important. And even now graphic design, most organizations need basic IT design skills or graphic design skills. So whilst you are in school and then you have all the free time in your room watching all the movies and all the series, you can take time out of your busy academic schedule to develop how what you can even do video editing, even photography. All these skills are important skills now. So for you to learn how to use Microsoft Word, Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, all these are what very, very important. Microsoft Access, when you want to develop databases and all these things, it's very important for you to have all these basic IT skills to guide you. Also, what digital marketing. Now, social media has come to stay, and everybody is on Facebook, but then everybody doesn't know how to rightly use Facebook or even use what Instagram. Do you get it? But once you have all these skills very well, and you go to your corporate institutions, they see you as an asset, right? That way, after service, you don't even have to request for the contract. The organization is going to offer that contract to you because of what the extra skills you have that your colleagues don't have. Okay. And then also coding now. If you have the time, learn coding. I remember so well in 2017 when I was doing my service at Unilever, I was also volunteering for Ghana Tech Summit. That was the first time in 2018. So after the summit, there was also another one in 2019. So I was at home where some of my previous colleagues texted me that, oh, Abigail, Ghana Tech Summit is coming back again in 2019. Do you want to volunteer? And even this time around, unlike the previous year where we were giving nothing, now you're going to be giving some stipends. So I was like, oh, then I'll join. And the funny thing is that when we joined in 2019 and then now the company GSE wanted to set up an office, they looked at the list of people they've had as volunteers and then what they selected us from there. And then from there we had to interview. And then even when they were doing the interview, I was doing this and I was running a training for global platform in Sunyani. So I was even not available for the interview. But then after, when I came back, I contacted the boss and said, oh, I missed the interview. I was like, oh, when I got there, okay, then let's interview you. And the next day, I didn't even go to the office. A colleague texted me that, our boss was looking for you. I was like, I called him and then he was like, oh, we have a job offer for you. Your letter is ready. You can start work. So even my first formal job after school came from what? A volunteering opportunity I took when I was doing my national service. So it even tells you how important this is. And then when we were recruited, some of my colleagues knew how to code. Even for me at that level, I just knew a few things about digital marketing and even social media. But I had this colleague, Letitia. She even knew how to do basic coding, and then through that, she was doing the website edit for the company and all that. So just imagine if Letitia didn't have those skills, she wouldn't have also got the offer. So whilst you're in school, let's take advantage. You can learn basic coding, and even now, some of these projects you don't even have to pay. Ghana Tech Lab and other organizations even run sessions for free that you can take advantage of. So let's do our best to also learn these basic IT skills to help us in our personal development. Then the third thing I'll talk about is what's your passion is. What is your passion about? What are you passionate about? What do you love to do? What do you enjoy doing the most? As a student at the university or wherever you find yourself, wherever you are, what are you passionate about? I turned mine into a business I'm running now. And I remember even this business, it started from a conversation. So even the things you are passionate about, who do you discuss these things with? Do you get it? So you are passionate about talking to young people, inspiring young people. Why don't you start something? Or why don't you join hands with a friend to start a foundation that will go into championing that particular thing you want to address? If it's a business, if it's food you are good in making, let's say you are good in making stews or you are good in making jollof, why don't you turn that into a business? It can be a restaurant. You don't even need to get a physical structure to set up the business you want to do. Even today, we have Global online. Once you register with some of these apps, you're able to set up your virtual restaurant, and then people order and you deliver, right? So you don't even need to get a shop or something before you can even start the restaurant you want to do, or the smoothies or the ice creams you can make very well, or the coding you know how to do. You can set up a website or a social media page and then say, oh, I want to train people into this. And then once you are consistent in that area, you can get people. So as I mentioned, I like to organize things. So I even told a friend that, oh, Me, now I want to even start organizing and then you start making juices. She was like, oh, but that is too small. Why don't you go into event planning? I was like, hey, event planning. So one day, Monday morning, I woke up. I was at home. This was doing my MPhil first year in 2018. For me, right after my national service, I came back to school to do MPhil in political science at my department here. So I woke up Monday morning, and then I googled online sample business template about event planning. Then I started reading. When I started reading, I was like, oh, so then it means first of all you need to do this, you need to do that, and then what? I had extensive conversations with other people who were in that area. So once I got all those information, I was able to say, okay, then now let me create my Facebook page, let me create my Instagram account, and even now I don't even have clients yet, so I need to now tell people that this is what I do. So then if I see my friend, oh, now I started doing events too. So if you know somebody who has an engagement or a wedding, let me know. I'll be glad to assist. And the funny thing is, even the people I knew when they were getting married, they would say, oh, now what can you do? They won't even give you the opportunity or platform to do it. But then from a friend in my class, she was like, oh, my sister is getting married. Can you come and then can you help? I was like, oh yes, I'll do it. I opened this Excel template, did a list of items I'll be needing, started calling other vendors, then asking them, do you have this? The things I didn't have. So I had to also start doing procurement. So the long and short was that last year, April, all the event planning dreams I had somebody's event to run the test. And I told myself that now this is like the time to prove that I can do the events work I've been saying. I started watching so many videos, looking at other accounts, and I could do it. Got other people in that business. I had a friend, which is who does decor already. So I told her to come and assist me, and we were able to I formed my first event decoration team from there. I got other boys and I told them this is what we'll be doing. And once we had a clear plan, we were able to do it. So then this evening, I want to tell everybody here that once you have a passion or something you really want to do, just read more on it. Once you read very well and then now you think you are ready, just have the confidence and then start it. You can do it. Then the next thing I'll talk about is us making good use of the internet. When I had this event idea, or even when I had all the passion, I had to read online. We have several information. So now make good use of the internet is the next thing I want to talk about. Now the internet is at our disposal. Several information. I call it the University of YouTube. Everything you want to learn is on YouTube. If you want to learn coding, if you want to learn graphic design, you want to learn decor, you want to learn how to even make juices, how to make stews, everything is online. What do you want to learn that is not online today? All the business you want to do, other people already are already in that area and doing very well. So then why don't you make good use of the internet you have at your disposal? I'm sure most of us here already have Android phones because you've been able to join a Google Meet meeting, right? So let's make good use of the internet, University of YouTube, and even now we have TikTok. There are several videos, and maybe you go to TikTok only to watch funny videos, but there are several things you can also learn. Even I think 3 days ago I went there and I was just checking event ideas, the new decorations. There are several things. There are so many information you have online. You can always go to Coursera. There are several courses you can take, not only about let's say business, but then even the ideas you have or the things you want to deepen your knowledge on. If you go to Future Learn, Khan Academy, EDX, all these are platforms where several information are available at our disposal. Okay. So I'll also be checking the chat box if there's any question. Probably now I can pause and then take questions. But then if there are no questions, I'll continue and then look at the next one. So after making good use of the internet, let's also develop our soft skills very well. When we talk about soft skills, your attitude, your mannerism. After starting your business, how are you even able to turn passerbys to become customers? It all depends on how well you are even able to market to them, how you are able to treat them, or will determine whether they are even going to recommend your business to other people. So soft skills is also very important. So the attitude you develop for yourself as a young graduate or as a young budding entrepreneur. What attitude do you have? Is it a positive one? Do you believe that whatever you've started, you can continue to do it very well? Also, what are your networking skills? As I mentioned, it was true what a conversation with a friend that I noticed that I can even start an event business. So if your network is not good, if your network or friends are only friends that you go to the pub or you go out to chill, or your main mandate is only to dress well, look good, and find the best restaurants to go and eat, then I don't think you are networking very well. You should have friends that even about your mental health. When you have issues, friends you can even call to discuss it. Do you get it? So these are all what soft skills you develop. So who are your friends? What people do you have? Are they friends you can fall on? Are they friends that give you what good advice? How are you even able to negotiate? Negotiation is also what a skill. These are all what things that students should what to learn right from school. This is what will let you stand out when you start your internships, or this is even what will let you stand out when you start what volunteering for an organization that will say, oh, this student is very good and that we can get him or her to work with us after school. Also, your leadership skills. Are you autocratic? Do you take advices or um yes, do you take advices or information from other people, or you think what you know is the best, or you think you have access to all the information in the world, or you are laissez-faire, you just leave people to do whatever they want to do, which can in the long run affect your business. So what striking a balance between all these things what are very key for growth, that is either personally or even for your business or even academically. If you don't even have good friends to study, how do you even get the motivation to go to BAM library or any library you find in your school to go and read, right? Then also time management. In school, are you only watching series? I'm not saying don't watch series or don't watch movies. You can do all these things and then still volunteer. You can do all these things and then still what do an internship with an organization. So developing what your soft skills is also what's very important. Even what public speaking, are you able to speak to people, or you start shaking? If you start shaking when you are talking to about two people or three, you just have to what practice more in your room. The little notes you have when you go for study group meetings, do you lead discussions? These are all ways that what you can what develop your public what speaking skills. You can't just wake up one day and become like Chigbodi Keduso, right? I'm sure you all know her. She's one of the big women when it comes to that area. Do you get it? So striking a balance between all these what soft skills here is very important for either your academic or professional growth. Then also, I think that is all. I wanted to add more, but then, sorry, that is the last thing I'll share. So I'll pause for questions and then I can add more. Thank you all for taking time to listen.
Great. I've learned so many things. I can't even number them about networking, the people you have conversations with. Yesterday I was having a conversation with my friend on financial intelligence and how to manage your finances in order to make wealth. And I realized that the current institution we find ourselves, nobody really talks about how you make money. Everybody is talking about learn, get good grades, you get a good job, you get money. But realistically, as we are learning today, it's not possible. You have to make a conscious decision to do the things that you have to do, learn the skills that you need to know, especially in this 21st um, generation or in this social media world, before you can do better and then um, improve yourself in terms of all these things. Yeah. So I'm learning a whole lot. I believe some people may have some questions to um, give. So there's the opportunity to bring out your question. Are you involved in any job? You can talk about how you're doing. Are you a student? Have you learned anything new? She was talking about speaking up, speaking out. So this is your opportunity to speak out. So the floor is open. If you are ready, you can either type it in or unmute.
Okay, hello.
Hi, Eric.
Okay. So today's session was marvelous. I really appreciate it. And it's worth it, right? Okay, so I'm happy I joined, right? So I don't really have a question because all she said is very true. Even I'm in my second year, but all she's saying is true. Don't we always try to learn in school, and by the time you graduate, you see that you have a lot to accomplish. So I really appreciate what she said, and I've been experiencing it because I have joined this kind of program. I really like opportunities, and I've joined this kind of program in my school. And all they are saying that it's not just by the technical skills, right? Getting into the soft skills will help you a lot. So I want to add to what she said. I find you guys on LinkedIn, right? So this is a secret. LinkedIn got so many opportunities. So if you are not on LinkedIn, you are doing yourself. I think that's all I have to say.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thanks for sharing, Eric. Any others? I've seen one of our former speakers with us. Oh, there are two. I have Mr. Sarkodie and Mr. Ibrahim. Great to have you on board, bosses. Do you want to chip in a few words?
Well, good evening to the speaker and to you, Aquile, and your team for always organizing this. Um, I really do not want to add anything, just want to thank her. Personally, I am just dropping notes, and I feel this is a golden opportunity for us to help the young people to shape the future. And like I always tell my trainees, information is very important. But what actually make the right information, there are some components which she just mentioned, and I would like to speak to it. One, the time that you hear the information is very important. If you are out of school, what she said is still relevant, but those in school, please make judicious use of it. Now, the source of the information. Now we are hearing it from somebody who has seen it, and personally, she has gained from it. So she's speaking from a point of experience. And I would like all of you to take advantage of such information. Do not leave here without connecting with her on LinkedIn. Connect with her, you know, take a screenshot of this and make a very beautiful post about what you have learned. Organization don't pick the best, they pick somebody they can grow with. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim. I've seen someone put a few questions. Okay, just yeah, a few questions. So my question is centered, Dennis, can you put in where you are joining us from? All right. So my question is centered on trying to be an entrepreneur. In our current economic state, how can students like us be motivated to engage in this activity? How, when, and why or when to start? Okay. All right. So our speaker, do you want to speak to it?
Yes, actually. So I've seen his question. So he's asking, looking at the current economic crisis, when and how should he start, right? I would say that, you see, I mentioned that for me, even when I got the idea, I had to read very well. So first of all, when you get an idea, you have to read, because it is in reading that you even get to know the strengths, how well you can do what you are supposed to do, what you are not supposed to. Because as I mentioned, what most of the businesses we have now, somebody has already started it, maybe in another different country or another country, right? So you have to read. So after reading, and then now you know that yes, so this is a venture I can go into. Start small. For every business, you start small. I won't tell you here that you use your investment to start a business, like use all your investments. No, you don't start a business like that. You start small. When I started my events, I noticed that in our part of the world, people don't often come for event plan, but then they come for the decoration service. So I had to start learning decor. And when I started learning decor, I didn't was buy all the things at once. The things I didn't have when I was renting them to what I was able to what mobilize and, or let's say generate a few revenue and then add onto it to get them. Do you get it? So in starting your business, start small. The little you get, then now you can add some to it. But then if you want to go and use all your investments and then now the business fails, what are you going to do? You're going to break down. So you have to what, first of all, start the business small, like with a little amount. So let's say you want to start making smoothies or you want to start making food. You don't need to use all the monthly amount your parents give you. Something small, maybe you can start making lunch for 3 people or 5 people. That is how the business can grow. Then when you see that, oh, this business like has great potential, and then if I invest more, we are going to get more money. That is when what I would advise you invest so much in it. Because even as you are saying that, looking at the current economic crisis, this is even the time for us to come up with ideas, because most of us are all looking for how we can get jobs in the various government or public institutions. But this is the time for us to start small jobs, right? Because if you check, I was one time discussing with my friend. I happen to do some remote job for Career Climb Co, which is a US company. Like it's a small startup in the US. But then one thing that helps the American economy to grow is that what lots of people have small businesses they do. Mm? You can see an American with or a family. What they live on is the podcast he or she has been doing, or maybe the business he or she has been running. So elsewhere, they um they they start something. So you can even start, oh, so this business belongs to my husband and I, and then maybe one child of mine. Then we've been run. So this is like a family business. This is how multinationals what came about. Do you get it? So start small. The little you have, encourage yourself. If you're waiting for the government to encourage you, I remember my colleagues and I, we had this share butter business. We won a government, I think about 6,000 cities. Today the money didn't come. So just imagine if we were waiting for the government funding to even do their business or something. Even though now our share butter business is not so much in a good shape, I believe that in the future, and we are looking at how best we can what re-strategize. So it's very good for you to first of all encourage yourself. So once you encourage yourself, that is when now you have the zeal to pursue. Thank you.
Great. Encourage yourself and then start small. Eric is asking for your LinkedIn, and we have put it in the chat. Okay. All right. So if you have any other question, there's the time to talk and interact with our speaker. Um, Sharing her LinkedIn. So there's her LinkedIn. She's a Meta certified digital marketing associate. So you can connect with her on LinkedIn and follow her as well. She posts a lot about her journey, and you would find it helpful to be in contact with her. All right. So if any one of you would like to add something, we have these conversations to learn from each other. So if you have also learned something new you'd want to add, there's the opportunity to talk. The meeting will end in
Uh,
15 minutes.
Good evening.
Hi, Dennis.
Thank you, Miss Abigail, for the information. I also wanted to know from this angle. What if she said start small, right? I wanted to know if the person had nothing, but has already cultured, the idea. Like I don't know whether I'm making sense though, but I have an idea. It has been cultured. Like I know what to do. I know my left from my right, but um even what to start with is a problem. So how will I go about it? Like something like that.
All right. How would he go about it? If anyone would like to speak to that,
Hello.
one thing. Okay, Eric, go ahead.
Okay. I just want to try to see something, right? I'm a kind of person whenever I go somewhere, I try to just try to see something. Okay, so concerning his problem, you see, sometimes it's true, but if your idea is powerful enough, a friend, uh, a colleague or a family member, discussing this idea to him, he will try as much as possible to help you. And I want to build this kind of small entrepreneurs as a student. So I've been posting it on LinkedIn, right? I have nothing. I have nothing. I'm from a village, and I just got the chance to get to the university. And now I'm having friends, two friends on let's say India, who are trying to help me, even though I have nothing, but making myself available, making my dreams realistic. They were like, "Oh, you are good, and we want to help your dream." So sometimes you should starting small is the best, and try to make your idea realistic. Try to help people, and I think if your idea, your plans are perfect, people are really to willing to invest in it.
Thank you.
Okay. Has your question been answered, Dennis? Would you like to speak again for our speaker? She went off momentarily. She's back on. She may want to add a few things. Can you ask your question
I think
again,
yes,
Dennis?
I missed a few parts of his question. So kindly ask again, and I'll be glad to comment.
Okay. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Okay. Good evening once again. I just wanted to know. You said something about starting small. So I wanted to know if the person had nothing at all, but has already cultured the idea. Has read materials, has a lot of information about whatever he wants to do. But has nothing at all to start, and the person is not ready to opt for a loan or something. Like, what would the person do?
But you see, as I mentioned, once you believe in your business, and let's say you have like some small savings, you have to first of all take like the step. It is when people, let's say, you have the idea, you want to start a food delivery, you want to buy a motorbike, but let's say like you don't have all the money to buy the motorbike to start the delivery business, right? Maybe the money you have can buy a bicycle. So you can start with a bicycle around. So in using a bicycle, you don't need to select or choose very long destinations, right? So once you start with the bicycle around and then people see that potential, it is that it is true that somebody can say that, okay, now I'm ready to give you, let's say, 2,000 on a loan to support the business, because once you don't take the step to start it, nobody will invest in it. Do you get it? Let's say on a few occasions you can get somebody investing in an idea, but it's not very common in Ghana here. But when people see you would take a move, so once you take a move and then still like you still need the financing to support. That is why now even our partnerships, people have the money but they don't have the time to run the business. Others also have like the idea, they have the time, you don't have the money. Do you get it? And now you can come into a partnership agreement with somebody who is ready to finance it. Do you get it? That is it. So but if you don't take the move, so whatever business you have, as I mentioned, you have to start small. If let's say you want to start processing cassava, that is too big for now, because getting the machinery, the equipment, even like sometimes even like the human resource, because nobody will be willing to start a job that they are not going to pay the person. Do you get it? So you have to start small. So once you start small, then people see that, oh yes, like there's potential. When I started, I said before last year in April, I didn't even have anything. Like it was just small birthday parties I was doing for my neighbors. So let's say my church, the Sunday school, I used to do small parties for them to get videos, to even tell people I could do it, right? But then if you don't start small, how can even somebody believe that you can even do the birthday party and let you do their wedding? Do you get it? So whatever idea you have, start small. That is when people can believe or not. That is even when yourself you believe that truly you can do it. Do you get it? So that's what I'll say. Just start small, like take the bold move, and then once you start small, that is when you can get people committing their finances or resources to support you.
Great, great.
Thank you.
Wonderful insights by Eric and Abigail. Thank you for sharing. So concerning her one of the points she made, our speaker made when she was presenting about learning digital skills, learning coding, and all that. I believe this is a very important aspect of our training as Ghanaians, especially in our educational system. Um, we are not encouraged to learn these skills. Meanwhile, in other parts of the world, these are skills that everyone has at their fingertips. Coding is a basic skill that everyone has. So once you grow or once you are exposed to it while you are still a young person, before you know, you are able to build a business with it. You understand? Ghana Tech Lab has very great infrastructure for these skills. They offer training in coding, they offer training in videography, yeah, photography, videography, digital skills. They have a lot of skills. They train young people for free. You can do this during your vacation whenever you have the opportunity, and sometimes they even give you stipends to just encourage you that they are in for you. They have funding from MasterCard. So definitely everything they are doing is basically for you to grow, and it's up to you to make the effort to also go ahead in this, in the training that they will give you. You understand? So as our speaker rightly said, these are things that are always they are wherever you are, you find them. So it's up to you to keep looking and then develop the attitude of training yourself, going for webinars like these ones, going for seminars, the physical one, and training yourself, building your own portfolio. That's the way to go. You understand? That's the way to go in this digital era. Yeah. Any other person who would like to add on any learning?
Hi, Aquile.
Hello, Jemima.
Yeah, so just to contribute to the question that the gentleman asked, I just want to assure you that, as has been said, the first person who tried to answer your question and then the speaker's response, I'm just tying all together. Basically, I think I would advise that if you know the ins and outs of it, as they already said, there's the importance that you go into partnership with people who are like-minded. You know, in the SDGs, SDG goal 17, that's the last goal, it talks about partnerships for development. That is the way to go when it comes to development, and especially for we a developing country. It's about partnership. Sometimes too, you need to go out there and sell your idea to people who can invest into your business, into your dream, to your idea. And there are people that are ready to invest if you know what the legal issues and the financial implications are. You might also want to read more about all that, so that what does an investor get, how do you do the percentage shares, somebody buying shares in the idea, or even going with a friend who is willing to put in your little money, the friend also bringing in their little money to come together. Note that partnerships for development is the way to go for now, especially if you do not have the funds to start on your own. So basically what they're all telling you is that don't give up on the dream. You can partner with like minded individuals to do the business, or speak to people who are willing to invest. And before, like I said, learn or understand the financial implications and the legal aspect of going into partnership one, and then also getting somebody to invest in your dream. And then sometimes too, you can decide to say, okay, I have this dream, you have everything written down, have a well laid plan for it. Okay, it's fine, but what else can I do to be able to generate income so that I can support my dream? So somebody wants to buy a car, wants to own a car, but doesn't have the money to own a car right now. What then do I do to be able to gather the money to get the car? Okay, maybe add two or more, three jobs, then you save from them. So you can, in as much as you have a dream and all that, it's important that you keep it. if that's another option, then you do other things to generate the income, then you use it to support it. No dream is late to achieve, no dream is late to pursue, and at any time, any point in life, you can pick it up so far as you are interested in building that dream. There are so many businessmen that are into businesses that wasn't really their dream, but as they began what they are doing now, they were able to save up money to really focus on what they really want to do. So there are so many routes. Never talk yourself about your inability to do it. If you do not have financial resources, you have the net worth. I mean, the worth of your network. I mean, the people in your life, and then also people who are like minded and ready to invest. And then secondly, you can also start doing something else to save up money to support your dream. So you can go for it. Thank you.
Wow, very wonderful insights. Thank you for sharing, Jemima. Jemima has been one of our seasoned guest speakers who normally share when we have these community webinars, and I want this community to be one that uh, both students and workers alike are always encouraging each other and sharing information and getting abreast with the issues at hand in this country, and in fact in the educational sector, in the work sector. I've seen a very long conversation here by William Saki. I'll read it out. He said he wants to say something, but his speaker is not helping. But the question about startup capital, I want to use myself as an example. So I wanted to start sneakers business, but I didn't have the money to start. So I just looked for people who are already doing that business, get nice pictures and post them on my social media platforms as if I have them. So I asked for the actual price of the sneakers, add my profits, then get the price to the customer. That's very smart, William. Thanks for sharing. So this is the way to go. I believe wherever you are, whatever job you are in, whether you are in an office job, an 8 to 5 job, or you are self-employed, wherever you are, you still need an entrepreneur skill. And right now, from my research, I'm getting to know that even companies, especially startup companies, they look for people who have entrepreneurial skills to add to their company because they know that you have gone through the hustle, you have gone through, some of these skills that we need, you have this tenacity, you have the ability to research and engage customers, engage users of whatever thing that they are producing, and this is the way to go. So thank you all for joining. I believe we've all learned something new, something exciting, and I would love that you go on social media, whether Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and then share insights of what you have learned, and then use the hashtag Vizcom 1.4 or hashtag ViztaEdu, and we would connect with you and then share with you. So you can follow us on all socials. This particular conversation, we are going to put it on YouTube, so you can look for ViztaEdu on YouTube and you can have access to this. You can also share it with your friends who couldn't get the opportunity to join this conversation, and then they would also get to understand these learnings. Next month, we are having a very, very wonderful speaker for our webinar, and we are going to learn a lot about public speaking. I believe public speaking is a great skill, and I mean, before you even become an entrepreneur, you need to know how to speak in public. You need to be able to be convincing enough. You need to be able to drive home your point even before the person gets lost in whatever you are talking about. So public speaking is a very great skill right now for many people, and storytelling and public speaking goes hand in hand. So next month we will be having, on the last Thursday of the month, we'll have a seasoned speaker talk to us about public speaking. And for October we have a surprise because we'll be launching our website in October, and we'll also have we'll have the CEO of Ghana Tech Lab share very important insights with us in October. So September, October, block your calendars because we are having very, very wonderful conversations. So thank you all for joining us. And this has been great. My name is Aquilo Kai. I have the team here. I have Samuel, I have Albert, I have Caleb, and yeah, we are the 4 people running ViztaEdu, and we appreciate your time with us. So continue to be in touch with us on social media, and we'll also be in touch with you. So you can also put in where you are. You can put in your LinkedIn on the chat, and we'll connect with you, and we can continue from there. Thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening.
Hello.
Hello.
Please, can we have a final word from the speaker?
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
Yes,
Abigail, would you like to say
yes.
something?
That should just summarize like everything for us. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Okay. So Vista Education or Vista Edu, and thank you once again for inviting me to speak to your distinguished guest this evening. Um, it's been a wonderful one hearing from students all over, sharing even how they want to start their business and then some of the challenges they are encountering. So, when you start a business without a challenge, then it means you're even out of business. So keep it up. Then whatever ideas you have, just read well. As you said, read well, read more. All the information, all the insights you need are all available online. So do your best to get all these information. Then we'll start small. As we've said, as you've all mentioned, start small, do your best, and I'm sure you can all do well. So let's all connect on LinkedIn and we continue the conversation from there. Thank you all for having me. Thank you once again.
Wonderful.
Bye.
Wonderful. Thank you for your insights. Yeah. It's bye for now. You can put in your LinkedIn and we'll connect with you.